Hey guys, so lately I've been asked coincidentally by a couple of people to talk about meditation. So, the meditation, there's varieties of meditation, but the one I recommend is a breathing mindfulness kind of meditation. I personally have like 3 or 4 different kinds of meditation I do in rotation, but what I recommend to patients or friends is really just breathing and mindfulness. I got some notes here, so you know what, let's do it now a little bit. Let's just put our feet, this is what you do. You sit up straight, kind of dignified. You can sit in a lotus position, but if you are like me, you're not gonna get there. So just make sure you have your feet just flat on the ground, sit up straight so you can easily breathe deeply. And then we're just gonna breathe through our nose. Slowly breathe in. You can hold it at the top if you want. And breathe out through your nose. Now, if you use this kind of meditation as an intervention and you're really stressed and really anxious, then it's actually a good idea to just let the breath out of your mouth to let the heat out. So just kind of release it. But if you're calm, you're sitting down, you're just gonna take a breath in. You don't have to count it. Just take a breath in, hold it for a little bit. Breathe out, maybe make the out breath a little longer than the in breath. And we'll talk a little bit more later on. This is not going to be a guided meditation. This is going to be more how and why. So this breathing meditation has 2 primary purposes. I mean, it's good for many things, and there's so much evidence-based studies about breathing meditation and mindfulness meditation. But I want to concentrate on 2 purposes why I recommend it to people. And one is de-escalation of emotions like anger or panic. You can bring it down, both in the long run. If you practice meditation once or twice a day, then in the long run, your anger outbursts, your panic will just get better. And also, you can use it as an intervention at the moment. If you find yourself just getting riled up, getting angry, then you can kind of bring it down through these techniques. And the other purpose of this meditation, sometimes for the same population, sometimes for different population, my dog, is to just get rid of unwanted thoughts. We'll talk about it some more too. So how does that work? Number one, the anger and the panic. Those are all part of our fight and flight response, which for millions of years has been very functional, right? You live in a cave, you're sitting there eating your mammoth burger, and suddenly the saber-toothed tiger shows up. That's the example we always use in these stories. Saber-toothed tiger shows up at the front of the cave, and your body goes into this fight and flight mode, or playing dead mode. And a lot of things happens in your body. You get a tunnel vision. Your blood chemistry balance changes your red blood cells. So if you get wounded, so you coagulate faster. You may get sweaty, so you become slippery in a combat. I mentioned the tunnel vision. Your metabolism stops, because if you are going to be fighting saber-toothed tiger, or more likely running from saber-toothed tiger, you don't need to be digesting mammoth burger. You need to concentrate all your energy on that. And your breathing gets maybe faster and shallow. So all these things, and that happens so fast. Maybe you've had that experience. Maybe you drove through an intersection and somebody almost T-boned you, and they went right behind you, barely missed you. And all this stuff happened to you in that fraction of a second. Before you made it through the intersection, your body was already in this response. And then maybe it came down, or maybe you had to pull over for a while and just, wow, that was close, right? Just kind of get it together. Or maybe you just kind of calmed down and drove on. Same with the caveman. Right? The saber-toothed tiger left, and then everything in the body came back to normal. The problem is when we live in this state all the time, because we live in such a stressful world, there are people that are constantly agitated, constantly stressed. So it never comes down. So the way to do it is ask yourself, what can you control when this reaction happens in the body? Can you control your tunnel vision? Not really. Can you control the blood balance of red blood cells? Why? No, you can't. Can you control your metabolism? No. Can you control, all these other responses? Sweating? No. Can you control your breathing? Yes. That is the only thing you can control. So if you can get your breath under control, if you can sit there and be, that sends a signal to your brain that, aha, there can be a saber-toothed tiger, because he couldn't be fighting saber-toothed tiger and at the same time be all zen. And it sends a signal to the rest of the brain, and all these other things just slowly come down. We do it unconsciously, really. If you are in a DMV and somebody cuts in a line in front of you, you really can't punch them. And what we do is this, sometimes we do it as a passive-aggressive kind of, but sometimes we do it even subconsciously. We just kind of do that. And that's really the same auto-regulation. You're just taking that breath to calm that nervous system down. And so that's how breathing meditation controls panic, anger, and those kind of emotions. But it also serves the purpose of trying to understand unwanted emotions. And that's a kind of different mechanism. So imagine maybe I'm a teenage girl and I'm overweight. And I constantly think I'm fat, I'm ugly, nobody loves me. And that's my world, that's my reality. I'm fat, I'm bad, nobody loves me. So part of the breathing meditation and how you do it, we'll talk about it later, you just sit there and thoughts will come in, they will inevitably come in. They'll, but what you learn, the purpose is to separate the thought from the thinker. So eventually, instead of saying, I'm fat, I'm ugly, nobody loves me, hopefully you will be able to get to, aha, here is that thought again of, I'm fat, I'm ugly, nobody loves me. Where did that come from? And maybe let it go. And you go back to the meditation. And it gets better. So how do we do it? We sit down, close our eyes, take a breath, feel it coming up the nostrils. Maybe you can feel it at the edge of the nostrils. Maybe you can follow the breath in, all the way to your stomach, hold it, or let it out. And you just observe the breath, and all you do. Sounds easy, right? It's not. That's why it's called practice, because you practice and practice and practice. And some days are better, some days are worse. So you sit there, you practice, it's quiet, and suddenly you hear that vacuum. I hope you don't hear it as a vacuum next door. But let me just use a different example. Maybe you're in a room and there's a clock on the wall suddenly, tick tock, tick tock. So you have a choice. You can try to fight it. I'm not, okay. That's never gonna happen. So what you do is just kind of recognize the noise. It's a clock. You don't get angry. Maybe you even embrace it for a second. Tick tock, tick tock. And then you go, boring, let it go. And get back to the breath. Or maybe you're sitting there, doing well, and suddenly there's a bus outside, city bus. And you know the noises buses make. I don't know off the top of my head, but the bus brakes, there's the sound of the brakes, then the whoosh, the brakes. And people will come on, people will get off. You don't get angry, you just recognize, I'm thinking about the bus. There's a bus, it's part of my reality. And then again, the door is closed, then the brakes, release, and the bus drives off. And you go, okay, and right back to the breath. And you may be failing again and again and again. One thing is, people say, well, I failed the meditation because I started thinking about all these other things, about my shopping list. You didn't fail. That is happened. That's the thing about learning to separate the thought from the thinker. When this happens, you congratulate yourself. Aha, I caught myself that I'm thinking about these things rather than just thinking about them. I recognize that I'm thinking about shopping list. Or I recognize that I'm just thinking that I'm a fat girl and nobody loves me. Congratulations. And back to my practice. That's it. You do this for 20 minutes. Guys, it works. I have especially the first one with the anger. I have friends, combat veterans, who meditate every day. And when they stop, it lasts a week or month, and they panic, like, I gotta go back to my meditation. And they will tell you it has saved their lives. Maybe their wife drives them crazy at home. So before they even walk into the house, they know that they blow up so easily. And they don't want to. So before they get in the house, they just pull over into the driveway and meditate for 20 minutes. She usually comes out and starts arguing with them. They park around the corner before they even pull up to the house for 20 minutes and meditate. Or they meditate at home once a day, twice a day. And really, there's quite a few guys I know that would say that meditation has saved their lives. They would have ended up in suicide or in prison, killing somebody otherwise. So it works. It's both evidence-based and also personally. I've had friends and patients who will tell you that it's really powerful. So last couple of things, I'll repeat, it's a practice. So don't think, oh, hopefully I'll get better in a week, or I'm going to really, really work hard on this and I'll be better in a month. It's a practice. You're practicing your whole life, but it will improve your life. And finally, the most important thing, I like to tell people, treat it as a gift to yourself. Don't think of it as, oh yeah, I got to do my 20-minute meditation. Really just kind of, perception is everything, and you can create a perception, you can control it. So maybe you do it in the morning, get up and get excited about, oh yeah, I'm gonna go sit down on the sofa, I'll have my blanket over me or whatever you need to do, and I'm gonna sit down and I'm really going to enjoy that. And you will find it enjoyable. And you can use it both, like I said, 20 minutes a day, but even if you have to go to a meeting that you're a little stressed about, a job interview, you can stop in front of the door and just those few seconds, if you put between being all excited and walking in, if you just stop, close your eyes and take a couple of breaths and really be mindful, as in, this is a gift to myself. I can breathe, I'm here, it's beautiful. So that's it, guys. Let's take a couple of breaths together. I'll just make myself comfortable, put my hands somewhere, put on my thighs or together in some mudra. My feet flat on the ground, drop my shoulder, sit up straight, and in and out. And that's it. Like I said, this is not a mind-guided meditation, so I'll let you go. You can sit here for another 20 minutes and do this, or maybe you can embrace this practice and try it on your own. I hope you will. Maybe let me know in a comment what do you think about it and how it worked out for you. Meanwhile, have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.